Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. We see some really good numbers dropping in, and it makes me very excited to be hosting this webinar. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, Dr. Taru. How are you?
Hi, incredibly happy to be talking on the World Vaginismus Awareness Day. Who would have thought there would be a day for vaginismus? I think it was much needed, and at Proactive for Her, we are just having a blast in this week spreading information on vaginismus.
We
Welcome,
really
everyone.
have been. I think everybody who's here, if you want to know more and beyond about vaginismus and all the content that Proactive has been sharing, you can head to our Instagram. And there's been quite a lot of content that has been written and approved and, shared with us by Dr. Taru herself. And it's quite eye-opening information that had been shared in the past couple of days. This entire week, Proactive for Her is celebrating as a Vaginismus Awareness Week. So it's been quite an informative week that we've had. Thank you, Dr. Taru, for everything. We'll just begin in another minute or so. We'll just wait for a couple of more people to join in. We're already touching a 3-digit number. Very excited, very happy to be here. We'll just begin in another by 7:02-ish. We should begin. Until then, hello to everybody. Thank you so much for joining today's session. And we're very happy to see every one of you joining. And Proactive for Her, I am saying this on behalf of Proactive for Her, that we're very proud of you for taking charge of your health, your pleasure, and your well-being. And we're very grateful for everyone who's joining in. And I think we should start now. I'll just quickly introduce Dr. Taru right now. Dr. Taru is a gynecologist and a vaginismus expert at Proactive for Her. And like I mentioned, she's the one who shared so much material, so much information regarding vaginismus during the Vaginismus Awareness Week that Proactive for Her has been very actively talking about. She's also the one who spearheaded the Vaginismus healing program that Proactive for Her has. Today, also, another reason why we are so intensively hosting this webinar is that today is Vaginismus Awareness Day, and we would love to share, Proactive for Her would love to share that in the past 2 years, through our Vaginismus healing program, we have healed over 100 people. And thank you very much, Dr. Taru, for providing a space, a program, an entire session with people and spearheading the entire journey. In this webinar, since we're now beginning, in this webinar, you can expect some really insightful conversations about vaginismus with Dr. Taru and a deeper dive into actually understanding what the Vaginismus healing program that Proactive for Her provides is all about through Nisha, who's also on this call. I think we'll just quickly begin with Dr. Taru, and please take us through the journey and help us understand what exactly vaginismus is all about.
Thanks a lot, Ayushi. Thanks a lot. So I'm just going to share screen and present. I have like a PowerPoint. And 1 second, do I have the sharing rights? Yeah. Okay, can you see my screen now, Ayushi?
Yes, Dr. Taru, your screen's visible.
Awesome. So everyone here, namaste, good evening, whoever is from India, abroad, various time zones. Hello from our Proactive Vaginismus healing team. My name is Dr. Taru Jindal. I'm 38 years old, based out of Mumbai in India. And been working full-time on vaginismus since the last 2 years. I completed my MD in gynecology in 2013. But last 2 years, I've completely switched to working on this because of the need on this, to work on this. Just a trigger warning, I will be sometimes referring to past history of sexual violence or sexual abuse. So just a trigger warning if anyone wants to mute yourself at that time. us at that time, so that you feel safe, and whenever you feel comfortable, you can come back to the session. uh, Thirdly, so this is just an introduction to vaginismus, so I'm obviously not going into accurate in great detail, so I'm gonna kind of have a 20-25 minute talk here. So let's start. So what is vaginismus? Vaginismus simply means difficulty in allowing vaginal penetration of anything. It could be a finger when you're, trying to finger yourself, or you're trying to do a gynecological exam with a doctor, or you're trying to insert a menstrual cup or a tampon, or you're trying to do a transvaginal ultrasound examination where you want the probe to go in, or finally, penis during the sexual situation. So any of these objects or things are not able to go inside the vagina, even though you really, really want to do it. Now, the definition itself says that she really desires to do it. She wants to do it. However, there is something going on that is preventing the vagina from opening. Right now, you'd wonder why would that happen, right? So think of this like a protective body response. For example, if you touch something hot, oh, your hand is going to withdraw, even though you come today are committing, I am going to the kitchen and putting my hand in that gas stove. Can you do that? You can't, because the moment you touch that, your hand is going to withdraw, your body is going to come forward and protect you. Dust flows across your face, oh, eyes close. These are all reflex behaviors, you're not doing it. Similarly, no woman does vaginismus, it happens to her, right? That's how, let's start the conversation with this sentence. She really wants to do it, but is unable to do it, right? And this is where we start our conversations on guilt and blame. A lot of time, uh, a lot of times women are blamed. तुझे तो करना ही नहीं है, or you're not trying hard enough. Not true. There is no one more than this woman who wants to have vaginal sex. Just something is happening that's out of her hand. So let's remember, she did not do vaginismus. It happens to her. So a very simple way to understand this is, think of two parts of our body. First is, of course, your vagina. You can see on the right side of the screen, this is like a cross section of a woman lying down on the bed. The triangular red thing is the uterus, and this one little line is the vagina. These square red things are the muscles around the vagina. And you can obviously see when the pen is starting to enter, it suddenly, stop there. So what is the entire pathology behind this, pathophysiology behind this? Is there something wrong with the vagina? Women often tend to think, oh, I have a small hole, or there's something wrong with my hymen, or some such thing that is physically abnormal. Absolutely not. When these women undergo a very gentle, let's say a small finger or single finger vaginal examination with a compassionate gynecologist, we realize that everything is normal. Then why is this vagina clamping up? The description that's given by women is, the moment I was aroused, I was wet, the moment of penetration, I just felt like an extreme amount of fear overcome me, and I suddenly didn't want to do it. And physically, her partner or she will describe that it felt like hitting a wall. It felt like there was no hole. The more we push, the more it hurt. It's literally like, something is just closing there, right? But as we realized, vagina is normal. And just one quick fact here, vagina is thought of as delicate and, nazuk, and usko hurt ho jayega, injury ho jayega. Not true. Vagina is one of the most resilient organs of your body. It is so stretchable that it can deliver the head of a baby, which is 9 centimeters wide. 9 centimeters. And what is the average diameter of Indian men's erect penis? 3.6 centimeters. If something as big as 9 can come out, why can't 3.6 go inside, right? So it's like literally a rubber band. The more you stretch, the more it stretches. And when you leave it, it comes back to its original size. So the elasticity is perfect. But remember, every single thing you do, the signals come from your mind. If I have to lift a pen, a signal has to come from my mind, lift the pen. So let's come back to the mind then. So the source is not the vagina, the source is the mind. Think of the mind in two parts, conscious and subconscious mind. Some of you may have heard of it. Conscious mind is like the daily use mind, how much vegetable I have in the fridge, when is my next meeting, just the daily use mind. But it's just 10% of your mind. In fact, some people say it's 5% of your mind. 90 to 95% of your mind is subconscious. Subconscious means you're not aware of what it is, where it is. It is like the storehouse of a room which stores your old memories, beliefs, experiences, events, whatever has happened in your life. Think of it like the basement of a building. It's not seen, but it's there. And it's a huge basement, long basement. So 95% is subconscious. And this subconscious, think of it like a tape recorder. You were born with an empty cassette. But while you were growing up, this tape recorder was always switched on. And it was recording everything that was going on in the environment. So, with regards to sexuality, whatever information, whatever events, whatever cultural beliefs were fed to you in your growing up years were nicely recorded in that tape recorder, even though you were not consciously recording it. It just happens. So, what kind of information am I talking about? So, I often talk about this like a YouTube Vaginismus playlist. So, there are certain songs. I'm just giving you an example, right? So don't think there are songs recorded in your subconscious. So some influences or songs in the playlist that got recorded while you were growing up. In the last 2 years of our experience with women with vaginismus, we realized that these are those, usual songs that may have got imprinted on that tape recorder. The first, universal, penetration is painful, or penetration is dangerous. It hurts. First night you're gonna bleed. My friend fainted. Someone had to be taken to casualty. Now this is like a cultural myth that's just fed to you from your friends, from your mossy, from your aunts. I mean, you've just heard this so much. And if something is gonna hurt and someone is gonna bleed, is your body foolish to allow you to do that? So if this has got recorded into the mind of this girl that, oh, dangerous, don't do it. So the moment of penetration, before that, during foreplay, she's aroused, she's wet, she really wants to go ahead. But at the moment of penetration, the subconscious suddenly wakes up and starts playing this song, danger, danger, danger. And it sends signals to these vaginal muscles, which can open to 9 centimeters. But it says, danger, there is an enemy at the gate, shut the door. And this is exactly what happens. She doesn't do it, her subconscious mind does it. So this is the first. The second could be witness to a lot of news of sexual abuse. Like, at least I know a lot of people talking about Nirbhaya, how that incident impacted them when they were like 10 years old or 12 or 15 years old. And in a society where there is zero sex ed, and no pleasure-based sex ed. The only sex ed we have is fear-based, you should not get an STD, you should not get pregnant. So in this scenario, if there's a lot of coverage of sexual assault, then this girl cannot see sex as pleasurable. She sees rape. This was rape. This was not sex. And no, there's no one to tell her that, dear, you're listening about rape and violence. This is supposed to be like that. Or it can be violent, but sex is designed to be a painless and pleasurable act. There are no conversations, gets recorded. This is a story of pain. Second is the story of shame. So vaginismus is a story of these two main things, pain and shame. All of us in India have grown up in very orthodox families, right? Uh, Families, schools, communities, everywhere, there is such a taboo around displaying your sexuality, whether it's the clothes you wear, whether it's a boyfriend you have, uh, buying a vibrator. There is so much of shame about sexuality, even though we are the only like we hit puberty at 12, but we are the first species which has like a 10-year gap between hitting puberty and the first sexual intercourse. Cow, the moment it hits puberty, next month sex, third month pregnant. That is how nature is. But we have put this long break between our, like, the maturity of our sexual hormones and the first intercourse. What is she supposed to do at that time? And we just shut it down, like as if she doesn't have a sexual identity. We make girls asexual. So someone who's so asexual, has never seen her vulva, doesn't know masturbation, suddenly 5 hours after marriage ceremony, how will she suddenly become a sexual goddess? So this shame is what we carry with us. Third, uh, and any influences around back touch during growing up years, wherein it doesn't have to be like a very violent act, just something as like a back touch in a bus is enough to wreak havoc in this girl's mind. I know a girl who was touched in the bus and kind of never went to the public transport for the next so many years. So it's about the impact. It's not about the event. It's not about the bigness and smallness of the touch. It is about the impact that it has on the girl. And the very first experience then becomes disgusting and negative and associated with negative connotation. How can then sex be positive? Fourth, uh, no experience with our vulva at all. Many of us, in fact, till the time I got married, I had never seen my vulva. We don't know how many holes, we don't know where what is. Total ignorance. Uh, Next, painful experience around genitals. For example, some of us may never have any sexual trauma, but someone fell on the bicycle and hit the genitals. Someone had a genital surgery, or someone had a very harsh gynecological examination. Someone had a lot of vaginal infection. Anything that's painful around that area can trigger the cycle of pain. And lastly, fear of pregnancy. इंडिया में तो मूवीज बनती हैं इस पे, शादी के पहले प्रेगनेंसी इस पे मूवीज बनी है. So there's such a shame around this that if a girl, you know, I remember even after marriage, the very first time we were having intercourse, the thought was, don't get pregnant. This is just fed into our psyches. And lastly, even if we don't have any of these sexual influences, just a very threatening or unsafe environment. For example, parents fighting or someone hitting the child. This can tell the girl that environment is very unsafe and she learns to live in the fight, flight, and freeze response. And vaginismus is a freeze response. Her body just throws all sorts of protective reflexes because the environment is unsafe. Yeah. So when any of these songs are recorded in the tape recorder, at the moment of penetration, it just sends a signal to the vaginal muscles, clamp shut. So this is what is vaginismus. As we can see, none of these songs in the playlist is what you were born with. It just came from the environment. So I say vaginismus is a consequence. Vaginismus is an impact. Vaginismus is not something you did. So that's the first thing I want anyone here who has vaginismus to understand. You did not do this, right? It's an impact that of your culture, of the experiences. So you just have to treat it. You just have to manage it. Not your fault. Now, what can be the impact? Girls in our country have been brought up to believe sex for husband is a duty. Childbirth, nourishment of the family, nutrition, all of these are our duties. And when you can't do one of these things for some reason, how does that impact your self-image? For me, it really impacted me. I'm going to talk about my story later. But what I have seen women describe, uh, things like, when I see someone getting pregnant, I really feel angry. When I see and attend a marriage reception, I really fight with my husband after coming back. I don't know why. I've just lost my self-esteem. I just don't feel like getting photographed anymore. And I'm getting very impulsive and snappy towards my partner. The impact is on her whole being. Let's realize vaginismus becomes a socio-cultural condition. It's not just a clinical thing of not being able to penetrate. It becomes much bigger than that. It becomes about her whole life. Someone had said, when you have vaginismus, it's not just penetration that's lost. You lose so much more. You lose your self-esteem. You lose your relationships. Your partner might sometimes start off with a lot of understanding. Later on, he's like, hey, I didn't sign up for this, man. I'm frustrated. So many times partner relationships end up in separation or divorce. So she doesn't just lose penetration, she's lost so much in the bargain, right? And of course, pregnancy. Within a year of marriage, everyone is talking about pregnancy. So what happens to that? So many women are so desperate, they don't see a way out, so they just go ahead and have an IVF. That is so sad. We have royally failed as a system to support this girl. This is the impact. The impact is much bigger than just penetration. Now, talking about my own story. Even though I'm a gynec, married to a psychiatrist. We were dating for 7 years. Also had this thought, not before marriage, not before marriage. And the first night, I just threw him away. I just pushed him. And it came as a total surprise because I did not think there was any subconscious belief that was bothering me, right? As of nobody realizes it, right? And the more we tried, the more it hurt. We just gave up. 3 years after marriage, first 3 years we simply avoided. After 3 years of marriage, I started looking around for help. We went to sexologists, psychologists, psychiatrists, gynecologists, everywhere. Some kind of responses that received were, first night always hurts, just bear it. We have done it. Or think of your husband. Don't you love him? He's going to leave you. Or just have some wine and relax and just put this lignocaine gel, just it'll numb you out. Or it's your husband's fault that he stayed with you for so long. Now, these responses were making, my self-esteem was already at an all-time low. And these responses just made it worse. I did not want to go back for treatment anymore, right? So we have very poor understanding about this condition in the society. And as I said, I went to various health professionals. Someone said dilator, someone said fingers, someone said heal your childhood abuse. So different things were told. We did not find a wholesome step-by-step healing process. So even though I did something, I kept relapsing. I just kept like going away from it until 4 years later, my partner said, I'm really frustrated, I can't bear with this anymore. And that's when, it just hit me that, oh, I need to solve this. And I took a break from work. I sat at home, read his textbooks, psychiatry textbooks. I went through material online from abroad because there was nothing from India. And I created like a sort of structure for myself. And guess what? I healed in 3.5 weeks. I remember when we first completed painless penetrative intercourse, I remember crying because crying not out of pain, crying because I was like, why? This was so simple. Why were my 7 years wasted? Why did I not receive this support from anywhere? And that's when this seeds of wanting to do something for vaginismus came in. There's a huge unmet need in India. Like I've said, we've normalized pain for women. Pain to ek aurat ki zindagi hai. This is what many of us have been told. Period pain, sex pain, childbirth pain, bear it. Whereas it's not true. All three can be made absolutely painless. Even childbirth these days, the protocols can be such that it can be almost painless. So huge unmet need because as a doctor or a gynec, I never read vaginismus in my MD textbooks. And that's why gynecologists don't often know how to diagnose vaginismus, what exactly to tell the woman, what is the approach. And a lot of times, women come out from gynecologist chamber feeling traumatized. I belong to that community. However, this is what I've heard, that it's not sensitive enough, not compassionate enough. There is a lot of cultural shaming that happens, a lot of penetrative exams which are done forcefully, thinking that, this will help the woman, doesn't help her. So lack of awareness in the health community, very poor resources online. I think the first blog was written in 2019 on vaginismus in India. And whatever work we do on vaginismus generally tends to be around dilators, right? So there was a huge unmet need, and I had just healed from that, right? So in 2020, I and my husband, Dr. Dharav Shah, we both thought that it's time to start doing something about this. And Proactive came along just like, universe conspiring to allow this to happen in India. And we launched an 8-week vaginismus healing program. Obviously, it has evolved over the last 2 years. I did not think I would even find 5 women. But right now, we are completing our 14th batch on Saturday and starting our 15th with the wait list of at least 50 women, right? And we've worked with women across the world. As the program has progressed, we've started making it more and more and more wholesome, because that is exactly what I didn't get. I didn't get a wholesome healing process. So exactly what I didn't get, I've tried to put it here. So we have stuff for the women, we have stuff for the partner, because even the partner needs to understand what is going on. Sometimes they have misconception, oh, she doesn't love me anymore, or is she having an affair, or she just doesn't want to do it, whatever. So he has to know this is not what she's doing purposely. So we have a partner support group, which my husband, Dr. Dharav, runs, and he shows them that this is not her fault. This is the reason vaginismus occurs, and this is how you can support her. Then when the partner sees 20 other partners sitting in the partner support group, the blame just falls off the same day, right? For the woman, we have a very intense program in which we have one-to-one sessions with our coaches. So we have a large team now. We have a large team of 12 coaches. So you get one of the coaches to do one-to-one sessions with you. You have support groups on weekends, because that's the highlight of our program. There is so much of shame of this condition, because you're like, oh, I can't even do this basic thing. So the shame can only go away when you meet another woman with vaginismus, which is something I didn't see even like in my entire 7 years of vaginismus, because I didn't speak about it. There was so much of shame and silence. So when we see all these women come together and see, oh my God, there are 20 other girls with vaginismus seeing exactly the same thing, then maybe I didn't do this. Maybe it's a consequence. And so the support group is the game changer of the program, which we have every weekend. Relaxation of the pelvic floor or the vaginal muscles, and mind and body relaxation is super important in this process. We have coaches for that. And of course, we have pleasure coaching, because the goal is not to get pregnant. The goal is not to somehow give painless sex. The goal is pleasure. The goal is painless, pleasurable, penetrative intercourse. And that is exactly what we aim at. So, like I said, gynecologist visits can be sometimes very painful. And that's why we say diagnosis, we get a clue of the condition just by the story that a woman says. And I've used these words that she uses. We only have to rule out any physical causes of pain, like infections, past history of surgeries, post childbirth, radiation, emotional conflicts with the partner, endometriosis. So these are some things we rule out. But if a woman is saying these things, you can get a fairly good clue this is primary vaginismus. Secondary vaginismus means a woman who's had painless penetrative intercourse in the past, but now for some reason is not able to do it. And the examples are secondary to painful traumatic childbirth or painful episiotomies, or all of these physical causes that I just described. Now, what is the treatment? The treatment is very simple. You work with the vagina, you work with the subconscious mind. So it consists of two things: emotional healing and physical healing. So you really sit with your coach and go through, literally open up your subconscious and see what exactly happened and heal it in detail. Because then no matter how much you work with the vagina, dilate, it's just a receiver. So unless you work with the emotional part, true healing doesn't happen. And this is exactly the missing piece of the puzzle for many like women who are treating vaginismus. So emotional healing is the crux. And then we learn to relax the pelvic floor. So this is a 4-step process of vaginismus healing that I created from my own experience of healing vaginismus. So we do not have this very easy flow chart given anywhere in any textbook. It just came from my own experience and the women, in our batches. So we start with emotional healing, start with repairing her body image, getting to see her vulva, she getting to see her vulva, transitioning to pelvic floor relaxation exercises, vaginal dilators, for example, and then obviously later on involving the partner. So just wanted to say this one thing here. We've often heard about penile erection, right? Have we heard of vaginal erection? We haven't. No one has spoken about what happens to the woman's vagina when she's aroused. So just as a small penis can just suddenly balloon out after erection, yes, that is exactly what happens to the vagina, even though it looks so small. But look at this aroused vagina. A vagina that's 2.5 to 4 inches long balloons out to 5 to 6 inches long, which is 1 inch wide, balloons up to 2.5 inches wide. It becomes as big as the penis, but you can't see it because it's inside. And there is so much of lubrication for, like, it's like oiling in the machine. Nature has ensured it is painless and pleasurable. It cannot be a fool to make this painful. Otherwise, no one will want to have sex and have a baby. But we have the biggest population in the world, right? So I want you to just take this away from this session, that it is a painless and pleasurable act. And women who heal, cry on the phone and say that, doctor, I didn't even feel it going inside. It was so painless. It is not true. It is not true. They can't even believe it. So this is the fact. The only problem is there is a virus in the system. The hardware is fine. The software is fine. Hardware is your vagina. Software is this phenomenon of vaginal erection. It's all there. There is a virus of pain and shame in the system. And that's why we just run an antivirus and it's gone. And that's why the healing is as quick as 3 weeks. This batch, a woman with 13 years of vaginismus, underwent 3 IUIs for pregnancy, healed in 3 weeks. It can sometimes take 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes 3 months. Depends on 2 things: the level of past traumas that we carry, and second, the amount of time you spend. If you spend more time, dilate more, you work more, you heal faster. This is how the pelvic floor looks. I'm just showing. So pelvic floor is like a cradle, like a jhula. So in your buttock area, this is like this muscle of jhula, this multiple muscles here. You can see from below, from here, and you can see from above. So these are the 2 images. And you can see the holes, the vagina, the anus, and the urethra. So the muscles around these holes are tight in vaginismus. And that is why we work on vaginal relaxation. Okay, so these are some exercises we do. Vaginal training with vaginal dilators. You start with a very small dilator, just as big as your finger, and you start putting it on your own in your own safe space with the help of relaxation exercises, and you ensure that it's totally painless. And one by one, you start putting dilators, and you end up putting the largest vaginal dilator of 3.8 centimeters. In our program, 77% of women who completed the program ended up putting this largest vaginal dilator in as short as 4 to 6 weeks, right? People couldn't even spot the vaginal opening. It shows that healing is quite quick. So just sharing the results of 13 batches. I've not included the 14th batch here yet. So we have easily crossed 200 women now. So total participants were 190. 7 people did not complete the program, so 183 did. 77% of all women who completed the program completed the largest vaginal dilator, and 78% of these women have had their first painless penetrative intercourse. We've also had women with secondary vaginismus. More than a dozen are pregnant right now. Some insights from our program: support group is the game changer because it gives what individual sessions cannot give. Removal of shame, a sense of community, hearing experiences of others. Partner support is super critical because if he doesn't understand, the process cannot be wholesome. You continue to receive resistance and blame. Bearing the pain, not the way. Lignocaine, numbing gels, not the way. Wine, not the way. We don't want to numb ourselves into having sex, right? It is a painless, pleasurable experience. We want to experience that. Pleasure is the final goal. And I'm going to end my talk here by saying, let's work on prevention. Treatment is totally possible world over. Programs say that the healing rate is even as good as 90 to 95% in certain programs in a very short time. What, 2 months, 2.5 months? Just ending by saying we want to work on prevention because we don't want the viruses of pain and shame and back touch to affect our girls before they have understood that penetration and sex is designed to be painless and pleasurable. And let's have pleasure-based sex ed, not fear-based sex ed. And let's transform the way we talk about sex to our girls. Prevention is the way. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Dr. Taru. That was, wow. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of us are also taken aback. And thank you so much for sharing your journey. And thank you so much for making us understand why we're doing what we're doing. Since we've talked quite in depth about vaginismus, I think we would also love to know what everybody who is attending this webinar, understand by what vaginismus means. So I think we're just quickly going to share a link in the chat box and just take a moment, just sit with yourself for a few seconds, understand what you are feeling about what terms do you relate vaginismus with now that we've heard Dr. Taru talk so much about it. Let's can we share the screen? Just 1 second. Okay. Can we share the results? Okay. So Dr. Taru shared quite a lot about the words that people think of, and I am seeing quite a lot of them here. I see pain as one of the highest recurring terms, but I also see pleasure at the same time. So I think that's quite a upgrade from there. There's also curable. I'm trying to look at positive words. Somebody's also saying not my fault. Dr. Taru, I think you're changing people. I think um that's quite a you know
Someone said trauma. Someone said fear
yes.
of getting pregnant, mental struggle, fear of contractions, breathless, mindset, disease. Someone said disease.
There's also cancer, there's rock,
Yeah, feels like a
frustration.
rock. Yeah. It feels broken. No one said broken here. Most women say, hey, I'm broken, right? Some part of their body is just not working.
I think on the contrary, Dr. Taru, this time we got not my fault written right on top.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we also
Thank
have a couple of folks sharing their views on the chat. Um,
Someone has just said, I'm crying. This is a lifesaver. I please request for the recording. Of course, this is being recorded, and obviously, we are not going to use identity and upload my part, just
yeah.
the talk on YouTube.
Yes, yes. I think we can now, since there are people who have been talking about the program, we can have Nisha talk about what exactly the Vaginismus healing program is all about and give us a better insight of what exactly Proactive for Her does with the help of Dr. Taru in the Vaginismus healing program. Nisha, over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Aishi, and thank you so much, Dr. Taru, for sharing that. It's my pleasure to introduce the 8-week Vaginismus program to you all. Dr. Taru's covered most of it, but I'll be giving you all a brief overview of the program. I'd like to begin by talking about the most important aspect of the program, which is our team. So, at Proactive for Her, the program is facilitated by a very comprehensive team consisting of gynecologists, psychologists, psychiatrists. We have a pleasure coach, as Dr. Taru mentioned, an art and movement specialist, and a pelvic floor relaxation expert. So, each expert brings in their own set of skills, and they've all been very instrumental for the success we've seen so far. I'd also like to point out to everybody here that our Vaginismus program is completely online, and you get to take up these sessions and go through the journey from the comfort of your own homes. To share a few insights on the different aspects of the program, so each participant in the program is assigned one coach who will be personally guiding you throughout the 8 weeks of the program. So some sessions in the program are group sessions, while some others are individual one-on-one sessions as well. We do get asked quite a lot what the purpose of group sessions are when it comes to a very sensitive topic like vaginismus. And we understand that not everyone may not be comfortable in a group setting. But what I do want to tell you all is that sharing your journey with many other women going through the same struggles, if not worse, has been a very critical aspect of healing. You get to draw inspiration and motivation from one another, and I'm sure nothing binds us stronger than the bond of sisterhood. So, in fact, most of our previous participants have also told us that support group sessions are the heart of the program. Secondly, as Dr. Taru mentioned earlier, our participants are also guided on how to use dilators. They're one of the most essential tools of the healing journey. For someone with vaginismus, it may just seem like a very daunting experience to even think of inserting something into yourself. So, with the right set of pelvic floor relaxation exercises and techniques, dilators do train your mind and body. Uh, to a possibility of inserting a foreign object and inserting them painlessly. So the whole process of dilation is a step-by-step procedure, and Well, and we do train you, and we do ensure that, our doctors are very capable of ensuring that you're able to do this very slowly and painlessly as you progress as well. We've also seen that unhealed vaginismus of many years has been known to cause a lot of conflicts in relationships, and this can in turn harm normalization in sexual life as well. And that's why, as Dr. Taru mentioned, we've included our partner support sessions in the program. This helps your partners understand what vaginismus actually is, why it happens to women, and how common it is. And this is led by Dr. Darav, who leads the partner sessions in the program. So this helps basically in very basic terms, helps create a very deeper understanding of the situation, and they get to learn how they can support you along your journey of healing. Uh, um, One other thing that I do want to pick up here is that we get one of the most frequently asked questions, honestly, is it really that simple? Can I truly heal in 8 weeks? And what really happens if I'm unable to heal in 8 weeks? So each participant, each person is very different, and everybody responds differently to the process. So 8 weeks the 8 week duration has actually been decided based on what we've seen the average time needed to heal has been. But based on healing work, as Dr. Taru mentioned, it sometimes may even take 3 to 4 months. But we've also seen people heal in less than 3 to 4 weeks as well, in about 3 to 4 weeks as well. But I just want to tell you that we ensure that we handhold you till your healing gets reached, and we also have something called a dilation support group running every Friday for women who are yet to complete dilation and penetration as well. This too is facilitated by Dr. Taru herself. I'd just like to tell you all that once you're in the program, there's absolutely, you just don't have to feel any kind of pressure of healing in 8 weeks. So, for anyone who's been going through some of the symptoms that were discussed here today, it would be the first step basically would be for you all to book a screening consult, and this will ensure you have a clear diagnosis before you proceed. We'll also make sure to share the links in the chat box towards the end of this session. And I'm so glad to have had this opportunity of sharing this with you all. Thank you so much all for coming, and thank you, Aishi. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Nisha. That was very helpful, I'm sure. And I'm sure a lot of people might actually just have gotten the answers to whether they want to go for the program or not. What do they do about if they're feeling that they have vaginismus? We have one more little question for all of you, and we'll just share the link again. Just drop in your answers. We just want to understand, after this conversation, after Dr. Taru talked about vaginismus, after Nisha shared about the vaginismus healing program, we just want to understand, we want to know, what do you think? Do you feel that you might have vaginismus yourself? Whether yes or no, or maybe you're still thinking. Let's just see what everybody's feeling right now. Let's just understand where everybody's at with the webinar. And after hearing everything, can we just share the screen to show the results of what people are saying? I just want to let everyone know that all your answers are anonymous on the quiz, on the link. And we or even the backend team, anybody who's taking care of the data, cannot see who's writing in the responses, who's feeding in the responses. Do you think you have vaginismus? 59 people, 61 people believe that they do. And 24 think they probably do. So that's quite a high number. Dr. Taru, what do you have to say about this? How are you feeling right now?
Yeah. And this just shows that it's a myth that female sexual pain is rare, or vaginismus is a rare condition. Wherever you will read something about vaginismus in a blog, everyone will say it's a rare condition. Do you think it's rare? If we are running waitlists and we are in our 14th batch now, is it rare? If a gynecologist who just works with the vagina, has vaginismus, is it rare? So I want you to see these results and know that at least if you think you have vaginismus, there are 67 plus 28 girls here who think they also have vaginismus.
Yeah.
Definitely not alone, right? Definitely not rare. And definitely there is hope. You can heal in a short time. The most important thing is proactiveness. Proactive for her is probably just the right word for this. Be proactive about your condition. Don't just, just sit and suffer through it. Yes, you didn't do it, the consequences on your body, but the responsibility of healing it is in your hand. You cannot blame anyone else that I got vag because of you. Whatever, it's here now and it's on us to heal it. So be proactive, and you can sign up on this link. And yeah, we take large batches now. We have a huge capacity. We are going to even start taking batches of 40. So don't worry, this is a safe space for you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Taru. So when we were when we shared out the link for registration, we also got some questions from the people, and we can just go through some of them because we're almost at time and we might not have time to address all of them. But we'll try to go through as many as possible. And I think the first one is quite a simple one that even Nisha spoke about and Dr. Taru spoke about. A person has asked, how do I know for sure that I have vaginismus?
Yeah. So, like I said, you get the clue if you have these things running in your head. Feels like a wall, feels like there is no hole, feels like something is tearing down there, or it's a sharp piercing pain, penis just cannot enter, overwhelming fear of penetration, arousal is there, desire is there, but this is not happening. This is a short clue of vaginismus. And in the screening call, this is exactly what the therapist does with you. It's a brief 30-minute process in which we ask you a few questions and determine these answers. And we just rule out physical causes of pain like endometriosis or genital surgeries. So you can have a reasonable clue with if you have these things running in your head.
Yeah. Dr. Taru, another question is that can vaginismus be fully cured, or does it return again after healing once?
So like I said, vaginismus is a vaginal contraction, right? So if you have worked very intensively to heal your past influences and traumas and worked very intensively to help relax your vagina, vaginismus healing is complete and permanent. However, if something is incomplete there, let's say you just work with dilators and you've not worked with your mind, then for a few weeks you may have painless intercourse, but let's say after a break, let's say after something stressful, it's a contraction, right? So the mind and body relationship is still maintained. Think of your pelvic floor or your vaginal muscles is a reflection of your mind. So if your mind is stressed, your pelvic floor is contracted or your vaginal muscles are contracted. So complete healing leads to complete vaginismus healing. So work on doing everything that is told to you by your therapist, because it's now an experience of working with more than 200 women now. So we know what works. Yes, it is complete if you are truly, truly deeply healed.
Thank you. Someone says that I can easily use a tampon and put 2 fingers in, but it awfully hurts when it comes to penetrative sex. A bit confused about whether it is vaginismus or something else, or if it is
circumstantial vaginismus. For example, most of the time, the fear is about the penis. The fear may not be about your own finger because it's your own finger, it's safe, right? So the fear, the psychological fear may be about penile penetration. And that's why your fingers are going. Some people have a total shut off, like your finger, partner's finger, gynec's finger, anything. It's a total block to it. Some people might be able to even have anal intercourse, but not have vaginal intercourse, because it's about penile penetration into the vagina. This is the source of fear. And can you see it's in the inner intercourse is also happening. So these are circumstantial times when you have vaginismus, but it is the core. Sexual penetration is the core of vaginismus, and yes, it is vaginismus.
We have a question about the queer community. A person is asking how many queer women have been, or people
Yeah.
who identify female at birth
So
have been a part of your program. In particular, their concern is a little bit about their partner, where they fear that their partner might be the only woman in the support group.
So interesting question. So in the entire 14 programs we've had one woman who identified herself as asexual, but wanted to go ahead with the penetrative healing so that she feels confident about her own body. The second participant we had, she called herself polyamorous. Polyamorous means she had a male partner and she also had a female partner. She had two partners, and both the partners participated in our program. So the male partner was a part of the partner support group, and the female partner was a part of our women support group. So we, because of a lot of shame involved, we don't mix the male and the female support groups. Ideally, we would be wanting couples to heal together, but because a lot of times women don't even say to another woman that I have vaginismus, forget saying that in front of a male. So we've kept these separate, and if you have a female partner, we ensure that she also gets support, and we often invite them into the women's support group itself.
Also, just want to bring this before I move on to the next question, that on 24th, we have another session with the entire vaginismus healing team, where we have experts, where we have mental health experts, we have vaginismus experts, and everybody will be talking also about your mental health and and the journey that a person who has vaginismus goes through, and the journey that your partners go through. So please, if you feel like this is something you want to include your partner into, you want to, make them an active part of your vaginismus healing journey, please do join us on 24th as well. And that will mainly focus a little bit on mental health of yours and your partners. So I'm sure similar questions and any questions about your partner and their journey of helping you and being there by your side through healing from vaginismus can be answered in a much detailed, better format.
I just wanted to add, so the entire coaching team is going to come next week, including Dr. Dhara, who is going to speak about partner perspectives, what he has understood from partner support groups, and the various emotional health coaches, mental health coaches, and how mental health issues are kind of affecting vaginismus, and how vaginismus worsens mental health issues like sadness, depression, anxiety. So we are going to have our whole team here. So you can actually hear from the whole team about details of the program. Get your partners along.
I think someone also asked us, how safe is our vaginismus healing program for women or people who are unmarried?
Yeah. So so many women, at least 1/3 of all the women who've done the program have been single. So either unmarried or single. So we don't think of vaginismus in terms of married or unmarried. We just think of it in terms of single or with a partner, right? So we've had many women who are single who think they had vaginismus in their past relationships, or are simply struggling to put a cup, or they would like to feel more confident about their own sexual selves. So many single women are there. Don't worry about it. For them, we ensure they are like really loved and cared for in the group. There is no difference at all in the management. It's just that they're single, so obviously they don't go to penetration with a partner. So we take them to the largest vaginal dilator and helping them put this painlessly.
We have a couple of more questions. I'll just skim through them. There's one really interesting one that I came across. So one person's asking, does endometrium thickness affect sex or vagina? Like, if this thickness is beyond it has to be and you are aroused, does it hurt?
So I'm not sure you're talking about endometriosis, or are you talking about endometrial thickness? Endometrial thickness means it's the lining inside the uterus. What has that got to do with sex? The penis doesn't go in the uterus, it goes in the vagina, right? So that doesn't have anything to do with vaginismus. But yes, if you have endometriosis, with endometriosis, if you have deposits in the vagina or in the area around the uterus, then sometimes you can have deep-seated pain during penetration. But we've also known women who have endometriosis, but the cause was not endometriosis, the cause was fear. So if endometriotic spots will be inside. So you will probably have pain deep inside. But if you have fear of just entrance, entering here, that itself is like vaginismus. So if any one of you are confused what you have, just as I said, it's just a 30-minute call. We have many therapists. So get yourself diagnosed properly so that you at least know what you have. And then you can go ahead with healing.
Yeah. Okay, we have 5 minutes. I'm sure we can take a couple
I just
of
wanted to add about the dilators. So, dilators, these are beautiful dilators made in India. Most of the dilators that you see on Amazon are not made in India. So these are all beautiful silicone. These are not plastic because plastic is very rigid. These are like silicone movable dilators, nicely perfumed, made in Bangalore. So this is what we provide with our program. So in case you already have dilators, then you don't need to get them. If you don't have them, then you get from us. So yeah.
We have a couple of questions about the program. I think if Nisha could take these. Nisha, can you tell, people are asking if we get the dilators with the program and what all is included as a resource when we talk about when a person joins the healing program?
I'm sorry, Ayushi, if I get this correctly, so the question was, what all do we get as resources with the program?
Yes.
So we have 4 different plans in the program. So one is a very basic program where dilators are not included, neither are partner sessions. So if you're single and you don't really have a partner and you already have dilators, you can go for the basic program. The second one is the basic plus partner session. So if you want to have partner sessions but you already have dilators, you'd be able to go for the second one. And then the third one is basic program with dilators, and the fourth one is a whole thing where you get the basic program, the dilators, and the partner session. So we have 4 different plans in the program. You can pick which one suits best for you. All of this information is also on our page, which will be shared with you all shortly. So please feel free to have a look and let us know if you have any other questions.
We'll just share the link for this screening call where you all can know more about vaginismus, know more about the screening, and book your sessions. Yes, Dr. Taru, you're saying.
Just wanted to talk about privacy during the program. I think that also must be on your mind. So online program provides that opportunity to make it totally private. You can do it from the safety of your room. No one has to know you have vaginismus. You don't have to travel anywhere. The costs are super reduced because it's from your room. So privacy that way is maintained. And second, we do all our sessions through Zoom, which are obviously closed. So none of our sessions have any kind of privacy leaks. We have WhatsApp group that we run during the program so that we can share resources, but it's all locked and everyone maintains privacy. We never had any issues with privacy in the last 2 years. Everyone respects everyone else.
Thank you so much. I think we're more or less done with all the questions. I'll just go through if any new ones have come in.
Any contraindications for dilation? Someone has asked. Contraindications means when it cannot be done. So, like we said, we rule out physical causes, and we'll not ask you to do dilation if you have any physical cause there. So, if there are no physical causes, and this is primary vaginismus, there is no contraindication. So, it's just that it has to be done very, very gently and without use of force, and it has to be done just the way it has been taught to you. Right, slowly and gently, everyone is able to, like 77% were able to put this. I just wanted to say one thing, that those of you who really want to hear women who healed in our program, I'm talking, but you don't hear them talking. So we have a podcast called Vaginismus in India, Stories of Hope and Healing. Vaginismus in India, Stories of Hope and Healing. It's on Spotify. Just go there, and there are the women are speaking on their own about how they healed in the program. It will really help. Second, there is a YouTube channel. You can go to Proactive for Her, or you can go to my YouTube channel, Dr. Taru Jindal. There are many videos explaining vaginismus, just like this one. And of course, we have the Vaginismus program page on Proactive for Her. So you can just write Proactive for Her Vaginismus program. You come to that page where every single detail, the cost, and everything is given. And you can also register for a screening consult there. And Nisha, of course, is our program coordinator.
Great. Somebody asked, I'm from Bangalore. Can I have a one-on-one meeting? I just want to point out that yes, of course, you can come to our clinic on 12th Main in Indranagar and you can book a consult. You can walk in, you can book a consult online. I'm sure we can drop in the link right now for the same. But yes, you can have a one-on-one consult with a gynecologist in the clinic. And please, this is also for everybody who is watching. If you are in Bangalore and you'd rather have a one-on-one conversation with a gynecologist, with an expert, then please do come by. It's on 12th Main Indranagar in Bangalore.
Yeah, and it will also help you rule out other causes of vaginismus. Sometimes when a gynac doesn't know about vaginismus, they might just be very harsh. So our gynacs in the Bangalore clinic are all trained in vaginismus. So they exactly know how to diagnose you, how to examine you, what to do, what not to do. Very, very trauma informed. So yes, people in Bangalore, please go into our clinic. This is just for the screening. The program is online.
Yes. Somebody is saying, I think now we just have quite simpler questions, which is just more of an FAQ kind of a thing. Maybe this could be the last one we take since we're at time already. Is it, wait, I'm really sorry, I lost this one. Whether partner conflict influence pain?
Of course. So, like we said, everything is about arousal. Arousal is the key to the door.
Yeah.
If you're aroused, your vagina will balloon out and will get lubricated, and everything will just flow from that. However, if you have conflicts with your partner, your arousal is affected. Arousal is affected. There is no lubrication. There is no ballooning out. And then when you try penetration, there is friction and pain. So relationship conflict is a very strong it kind of worsens the vaginismus issue itself. If we have couples who are in harmony, then the woman just has to deal with her past. But if there is conflict going on, she also has to deal with the past and also with the present relationship conflict. But we have excellent relationship coaches in our program. So we are doing couples therapy. We are doing so much work in the program you'd not even believe. So proud of my team.
Thank you so much, Dr. Taru. We're really sorry if we couldn't answer some of your questions. I'm really sure that we
I just want to say that we have an FAQ, document made. So Nisha, it's already uploaded on the website. FAQs.
No, Dr. Taru, the FAQs are not on the website, but if any of you would like to have this, please do drop us a text on the Proactive for number, and we'd be more than happy to share that across.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, one last question. How many hours each day should we spend during the program?
Yeah, the best part about the program is you don't have to leave your house and job and go somewhere else and heal. You can do your job. What we tell is ensure that you don't take up heavy projects during these 8 weeks. Do your regular job. Don't make it intense or heavy. 1 hour twice a day is what we expect from you. That's it. 1 hour twice a day to do the exercises we ask you to do and just to attend those 3 sessions per week with us. That's it. So it's quite a free and easy process. And that's why it's 8 weeks. Had it been a physical thing, it would have been shorter. But we ensure that nothing in your life is stopped for vaginismus healing.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for joining, everybody. Thank you so much, Dr. Taru and Nisha. It was a great session. I'm glad we got to do this. We hope to see every one of you again with your partners next time on 24th September, Saturday, 4 to 5 p.m. And that is going to be about your mental health and your mental well-being, as well as your partners, where we will look into the entire coaching, into the entire program with the entire vaginismus healing team. If in case we missed out on any questions, please feel free to drop in, book your screening consults, and you can also ask them in the next consult, the next webinar, and we hope to see you there. The registration link has been sent on the chat just now. I'll give it a couple of seconds for people to click on it if you want to register right now. And we can just end this session.
Thanks a lot for coming in for the session and opening up your hearts to this conversation. I just want to say there is hope. Don't worry. Don't worry. I have healed 7 years of vag. Less than 4 weeks, you can do it.
Thank you so much, everybody.